nom nom. Get it done, boys. Right there. Let's search the premises. Right there. You could use some shut-eye. You're not running. I love knocking out teeth. What? You tired? If you find them, I'll buy you all some pizza. Don't move. You've done well, man. Don't move. This is our definition of mercy. Get over here. Gotcha! Steady pace, man. Don't move. Here we go. A minor setback. Don't move. You irritate me. We'll find them. You're mine. Get back here! Gotcha! If you find them, I'll buy you all some pizza. Let's search right there. Sleeping with the fishes. Don't move. You're mine! I love knocking out teeth. Right there. Sleeping with the fishes. Last one. Let's make it count. Steady pace, man. I gotta buy me.
Peekaboo! Hey, wait a second! I don't know you! Okay, so like, can you guys die? On everyone's soul? This won't happen again!
来いよ。終わらせてやるよ。どうした。
Ready or not, here we go! You are strong!
Is your belief unbreakable? Is it absolute? Just an old song that's like the way the solar feels in their one blend. Are you ready? Tell me, is your belief unbreakable? Is it absolute? Even all of that protection stacking didn't save you, now did it? Tell me, is your belief unbreakable? Is it absolute? Tell me, is your belief unbreakable? Is it absolute? Just an old song, just like the way the solid earth feels against her one good leg. Harpooners, fire! Stagger! You're that whale, the source of which all evil sprouts. I rule with all its might, and will crush it in my claws!
My love, curiosity.
think you could defeat me? Do you actually think you could defeat me?
가리패가 듣지는 않아요.
Updating.
来いよ。来いよ。
right before they die. This is Mercy Fiction, you might think. See you next time. I see you. One by one. See you next time. I cast necromancy. Rise. I see you. This is Mercy Fiction, you might think. See you next time. There's only
Search the grounds. They can't have gone far. Courtesy from our family. Lay down together. Do it. It's complimentary. You might. Do it. They could be anywhere. Get over here. Ashes to ashes. It'll hurt you more than it'll hurt me. Right there. Get back here! Get over here! Right there. Now. Unnecessary, really.
I smell bear.
Nom nom nom.
You're no fun.
Go on, hit!
You're no bear.
Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom.
They all fall down. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. Yummy. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom.
It's Rick and Ted.
らどうした。悪く思うなよ。
行くぜ。
終わらせてやるよ。
Nom nom nom.
行くぜ。行くぜ。
悪く思うなよ。ほらどうした。来いよ。
行くぜ。
ほらどうした。ほらどうした。終わらせてやるよ。ほらどうした。
行くぜ。
ほらどうした。
Nom nom nom.
終わらせてやるよ。ほらどうした。
行くぜ。
ほらどうした。
行くぜ。
悪く思うなよ。 悪く思うなよ。ほらどうした行くぜ。悪く思うなよ。
Don't move.
Nom nom nom.
It's raining.
Nom nom nom.
It's raining.
Radioactive may think that you can just see. Congratulations, you won. Congratulations, you won.